Fortnite Chapter 6 is getting roasted. From things being overpowered to straight up goofy, number one starts with teleporting. So we all know the Void Mask might be the coolest mobility item ever added to Fortnite, yet players are starting to realize just how easy it is to find. Once you know the locations of the secret vaults and rooms with the best loot, you can easily track down a Void Mask and just teleport wherever you want. What this means is that in the last few circles, half the lobby could zip around and just run away from fights. The same way that the Rift to Go became unbearable to fight against. But that's not all, people are using them in a pretty genius way. By throwing an orb before they even start fighting, if it just gets too intense, they can escape in an instant. Because of this, fans hope that the Void Mask at least gets a better cooldown or something. But it's not the only overpowered item. It's a little harder to find a Typhoon Blade unless you know exactly where the stands are. In which case, now the whole lobby is dropping in to get one of these, and man, players are calling them busted. Like, they have a point. This thing has a limited sprint when you combo it with the slide, and by swapping your inventory, it causes an infinite flying glitch. That's not all. From the constant attack spam and the long durability, it's becoming a dominant weapon in Chapter 6, so fans want to see a nerf or some kind of delay after 3 strikes. One issue I completely agree with you guys on is XP. This season they made a huge change to the way we level up. Now all the XP is synchronized across the modes and you gain it per minute of playing. This allowed LEGO fans to just AFK and get a ton of XP because there's no AFK timeout in that mode. So to fix it, they straight up removed XP from LEGO. This new system, it's extremely slow and makes leveling up harder than it's ever been. But luckily, Epic has heard our feedback. 2 days later, they're forced to make a change, giving us increased weekly XP to 4 million in LEGO, Creative, and Reload, alongside 25% more XP for daily bonus quests. They also fixed the LEGO glitch, which is a really good thing to hear. Now, if this still doesn't work, they're continuing to monitor the situation, making sure all of us get equal amounts of levels for our time. Hey, especially if you're spending most of your time fighting the Nightrose. When you're with friends, it could be a decent battle, but for anyone who prefers solos, you're in for a bad time. Players have complained about how Nightrose has way too much health, and the Shadow Puppeteers just third-party you alongside other players. You lose all your shields, spend time to heal up, and by the time you've done that, the Nightrose has just reset her health. No wonder fans are complaining. Even if they're not third-partying you, these shadows will haunt you until you die, and they just don't give up, slapping the life out of you before despawning. Now, literally, as I'm making this video, they just announced that Nightrose has been nerfed. I mean, once again, Fortnite's already listening, it's crazy. Her fireballs are now only 20 damage, and the explosions aren't as big. I mean, it still won't solve the Shadow Puppeteer problem though, but I'm sure Epic is already working on it. Now, you might have logged in to enjoy the new chapter, only to be met with a big fat nope from Fortnite. Tons of people were randomly banned for 24 hours, all because they were using the Void item and shockwaves, and for whatever reason, anti-cheat does not like that. It dished out hundreds of false bans, ruining people's entire day. Now, Epic knew this was a big issue, and they reversed them as fast as they could, and to show just how apologetic they were, they even gave out 2,000 V-Bucks to anyone affected. One thing I really don't want though is Fortnite getting even sweatier, and somehow they found a way to turn tryhards from architects to Spider-Man. It's all thanks to wall bouncing and the new movement. We are seeing levels of sweat that you can't even comprehend. Now, I mentioned how the Void Mask is considered super OP by the community, but not all masks are like that. The fire version is kind of the opposite. Players have been pointing out how it basically does no damage to builds, and for something that's meant to lock onto enemies, it's ridiculously easy to dodge. Cherry on top, it only has 8 charges too, so most fans are finding better ways to use up an inventory slot. Something everyone can get behind is a change to Shogun X. I think we all know that this guy is the hardest boss we've had in years. It feels like fighting giant Dr. Doom all over again. Shogun's health bar is massive, and this wouldn't usually be a problem until you consider that he spawns in super late, meaning most of the lobby are already in the area. This causes you to get a guaranteed third party, and the fact Shogun X drops a random mythic each time makes it a pretty risky sacrifice of your time. On the bright side, his Typhoon Blade is so worth it. If only Epic would make him a little easier to kill. And hey, it probably would be easier if we had weapon mods. They have completely got rid of the feature that defined Chapter 5. Before, you could put any attachment you wanted on your favorite guns, personalizing your loadout to your playstyle. Not anymore. Mod benches are nowhere to be found, and mods are permanently given to guns. Just fans aren't happy about it, and fair enough, why would you want less customization? Something that has been super controversial this season is hitscan. We spent years begging for Epic to bring it back to the game, and now all of a sudden, a ton of people hate it. Like, not even just regular players, even creators regret asking for hitscan.
Okay. I love chapter 6, how it just, you always have a chance to fight back. It's my favorite part about this chapter. It doesn't feel like hit scan weapons are overpowered at all, and it doesn't feel like they didn't play test. It feels like they really put a lot of effort into it.
On the other hand, the amount of people who love hit scan is about the same, and trust me, there's plenty of arguments about it going on right now. I think when it comes to these types of features coming back, it's just balancing, and Epic Games will find the middle ground to it. It's just like the talk about shotguns. Not gonna lie, the shotties aren't that bad this season, but there's still room for improvement. When you have items like SMGs and the return of hit scan ARs, shotguns are not cutting it anymore, and fans agree they need a buff. Luckily, you can get your hands on a way better version, the Mythic Pump, except it's basically impossible to get. You need to defeat Shogun X and then have a chance of earning a shotty. It's meant to be the only gun in the entire game that can deal 200 damage in one shot, until... yes, they don't die. The gun that was designed to be one pump doesn't actually one pump. And no, it's not a glitch, it's on purpose for some reason, unlike the countless actual bugs which are ruining people's games in chapter 6. Okay, so first we got the bridge that sends you to heaven. Katana Fight Club.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Or the fact reload, it's unplayable. The glitches have been ridiculous lately, but you should know Epic is working extra hard to fix them. I just understand why you're not so happy about your games being ruined for no reason, especially when XP was so hard to come by. You need the matches to work. When I mentioned earlier how Shogun X's sword is totally worth picking up, this is why. Combined with his invisibility power, let's just say you could become unstoppable. Fans are starting to get tired of trying to put up a fight against the one person in the lobby that could get this. Once you have the Shogun abilities, you could run around with infinite stamina, and the invisibility just makes you super hard to detect while running around. The sword spam, that's the icing on the cake. With OG releasing, hopefully Epic is ready to handle the massive amount of players about to join the game. I'm saying this because they're already struggling to account for this week's players. The servers have been a mess with people constantly reporting issues matchmaking or even logging into the game in the first place. Just yesterday, the entire Epic Games service went down, booting millions of players out of the game. I mean, that's no fun. One of the funniest mistakes Epic have made is in the trailer. When they tease Godzilla, let's just say this is not his roar. So I want to explain this because there's actually a reason for it. Turns out his roar sound is a separate copyright they have to license. In fact, some of the films don't even have it. I guess Epic couldn't work their magic this time, and some fans are disappointed about it. But like, come on guys, it's not the end of the world. Thinking about it actually, if Godzilla shows up, I mean, maybe it could. What it is the end of is Arcane, one of the most demanding crossovers in Fortnite. Season 2 just gave us the finale of the entire show, and yet Epic hasn't come back for another wave of Arcane skins, even though, I mean, come on, they sell like hotcakes. This is one of the most disappointing issues for a lot of people. They're really excited for some more League characters, especially now that everyone is talking about the show again. The worst part is, the show ending means we'll probably never get another crossover. Chapter 6 also made a ton of small changes that you wouldn't notice at first, but once you do, you'll demand it gets fixed. Like how for some reason when you get eliminated, you can't ready up for the next game anymore. You have to go back to the lobby. It was the most convenient button in Fortnite, and now it's gone. So are snipers, which made a ton of fans pretty upset because there are lots of people who love sniping. It's like their entire playstyle. Now they don't even have the option to do it. I gotta say, they would be a great counter to people running away with a void mask, that's for sure. But thinking with a big brain here, people, heavy ammo, it's in the loot pool, so this does tease that they will eventually return. So I have to ask, if there's no snipers, why on earth did Fortnite bring back the bush bomb? These things keep returning, and literally no one uses them besides Bush Camp Dad. Like, when was the last time you saw someone actually throw down a bush for any reason other than sniping or hiding from snipers? It is a total waste of an inventory slot. And so is your reward for defeating the Daigo NPC. This guy has an entire challenge where you can duel him for an item, and thankfully it tells you what the reward is before you agree to it, because ain't no one fighting an NPC for a gray AR. You can keep it. This next one is a pretty small change if you think about it, but it has huge consequences. Now that Fortnite Crew gets you every single battle pass in one price, Epic really wants to incentivize us to buy that instead of just spending 950 V-Bucks on the BR pass. So, to do this, they have increased the cost for the first time ever, permanently setting it at a rounded 1,000 V-Bucks. Small change, doesn't really matter, right? But a ton of people buy 1,000 and then use the remaining 50 to build up a small balance, spending it on the item shop over time. Now they can't do that and your entire purchase is gone immediately. I mean, I get why you guys are upset about it. It's 50 V-Bucks, come on. Those are your biggest problems in Fortnite Chapter 6. Let me know which ones you agree with and which ones you disagree with. It's been Tommy, keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.